welcome to the Beskar Briefing. This is a special episode for the upcoming season of The Mandalorian. We're going to talk about our reaction to the trailers, our reaction to the theories, the fan leaks, our predictions, just hype all around. Let's go, Mando!
Right. So we gotta talk about this because we are nerds, true and true, but we're Star Wars fans first. And come on, our show's called Beskar Briefing.
This is the way.
We started this kind of after Mando started dropping. Like
right.
we all knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So
we did.
First of all, obviously, I don't think either of us have to really describe how excited we are for this new season.
Super.
First season was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Personally, two things that I'm super excited for is to see what is up with the Darksaber.
Yeah.
Why Moff Gideon has it and stuff like that. And then I really want to see Ahsoka. Ever since they announced her, I want to see how live action Ahsoka is going to work. Because quite personally, I'm terrified.
Yeah, okay.
I am terrified that it might not work.
I don't even want... Okay, so on that same track, obviously I'm excited for The Mandalorian. It's one of the best shows ever. But it's also the first live-action Star Wars show, made by Jon Favreau, David Filoni, just great creators all around, and just really captures what Star Wars is all about. Finding a family, just really unity and talking about adventure with that. But I think what made Mandalorian so special that people were forgetting is that it was new characters that you can build their character arcs, build their personalities through. Like the Mandalorian, remember, gives up the child, and he calls it the sin. Like the whole episode's the sin, and it's like he's like, "Damn, I shouldn't have given up a kid." And the armor is like, "Yeah, we don't give up kids." And then he's like, "Okay, we gotta go." He goes back and storms through all the stormtroopers, no pun intended, and then just kind of kills them and goes on his way, right? And is hunted. He's now from the hunter to the hunted, right? So.
Right.
I think that's what's really cool about The Mandalorian Season 1. And it's a whole bunch of side arcs that kind of come in to breaking out his old crewmates and stuff like that, little side things. And then new cool things about the New Republic and all that. And so you have old elements, the Darksaber being a big reveal, the child being a big reveal. That was kind of a shock factor. I don't know what they'll do in this one. Maybe they'll bring someone we didn't even expect, like Luke Skywalker, maybe, but I don't want them to go into Ahsoka as much. And not because I don't like Ahsoka.
Be a huge character.
You don't
like Ahsoka.
No, I do.
That we could talk about.
No, I don't. I do. I said it's not that I don't like Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka.
Sorry.
I don't know if she has that much to offer now. Does that make sense? Like her main story arc is in the Clone Wars, right? And
it's in the Clone Wars, and then she
even in Rebels,
back up a little bit in Rebels.
In Rebels, she's just
then,
there a little bit.
What is she gonna do after this?
Like in Rebels, she's just there a little bit, right? But mainly to confront Anakin, to confront Vader.
Yeah.
And then she's pulled out by Ezra, and then dropped off somewhere else, and then she comes in at the end to help Sabine. I don't know if they're just using this as a stepping stone to start an Ahsoka series, which is apparently being reported, and I don't want that to happen because. I've seen Rosario Dawson, great entertainer. I don't know, as an actress, she's okay, but I don't know if she really captures what Ahsoka is. Does that make sense?
I think it's going to be very determinant on what she does in this show, which is why I'm so curious to see what's going to happen.
It's all but confirmed that she's going to be in it. I don't know there's a small part of me that just hopes that it's false, that she's just not in it, which would be great for me. But if she's in it, I'm very scared that it's not gonna be good, because at this point she's just gonna be older, right? She's gonna be much older, and I don't know if we need to.
I am very curious to see what exactly is gonna happen.
Right.
The one thing I say is that I think a way it could possibly work is if she has a connection to whatever the child's race is.
Yeah, but
I could see her being a protector of that.
I just don't. Yeah, because she adopts her own. She's not gonna bring. I don't know even if they unite the child with her, the child's then not going to be grown up to be a Jedi, right? Like, because she's not going to bring her to Luke, because I don't think she ever met Luke.
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing. Like, I don't know if Luke comes in it, that would be, I think, more interesting, because you could see the new Jedi Order. But if she comes in it,
I'm not sure that the child will ever become a Jedi. First of all, because
that's so
of
lame,
the fact
though.
that, like,
what's it gonna do? Just be a kid forever, or just has some force powers and then just disappears into
I think it's gonna be. It, honestly, I wouldn't put it past it being a very weird hybrid between a Mandalorian and a Force user.
No, I can see that.
I can see it.
Like, I thought that when they introduced the Darksaber, that it was gonna that's gonna adopt the Darksaber, that because now this child is a Mandalorian, it can be, you know, yeah. I thought that was a cool way that it, that kind of set that up.
That'd be neat.
But it kind of set that up well, because when he gives it his necklace of the Mythosaur, I was like, oh, it's set. This child's gonna be a Mandalorian Jedi or a Mandalorian Force user. And I thought that the Darksaber is just going to pick that up, Now that's going to be the wielder. So I thought that was going to be cool. Like, it doesn't have to be a Jedi Order. But I don't know if that Ahsoka is the right character to bring in, if that makes sense.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Because Ahsoka is all about, like, being anti-Jedi. Not anti-Jedi so much, but she's like, I'm not a Jedi. I'm not a Jedi.
Yeah, she's not.
I don't think she's a good... She's not really a good teacher either, because she knows that she doesn't really have her own philosophy. Like, in Rebels, too, she was kind of just finding her way into being a part of the rebellion. But apart from that, she wasn't really much help, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, well, she was a part of the rebellion. She was Fulcrum. So
no, she's a good rebellion. No, but now that the rebellion's done, what is her real purpose, if that makes sense?
The Rebels. Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea what
maybe they'll give her a new purpose, which is fine. Maybe she's like, protectors of some small worlds. That might be like you said. But maybe the, Yoda species, whatever world. But I'm scared.
You briefly mentioned Luke coming in and the new Jedi Order. And while I think that
maybe not really Luke himself, but like his Jedi Order, yeah.
Right, the new Jedi Order. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer reason that if that happens, that means the child dies, because Ben kills the Jedi
I know.
Order.
But here's the thing: is that he escapes with a handful of his students, but some of those students clearly escape. Like, he didn't kill everyone, So,
as far as we know, they're all dead.
Yeah, but he also, like, when he was explaining, he was like, it made it seem like he just destroys the temple and goes away. Not really so much that the Jedi are all gone.
The comics do shed a little bit of light on what he does.
And I don't think he
read them.
I haven't, but I've read like the story sort of what happens, and based off of that, he kills whoever's in his way. So it's not, I don't know, and the child is clearly not in the thing, so it'd be difficult for them to just insert him.
Right.
This is why I thought he could be a Mandalorian Jedi. There's like a Jedi, like in the sense that he doesn't have to be part of the Jedi Order, but he can be a Jedi, like a light side user.
I'd be curious too, just because like we don't know in the sequel trilogy, we have no idea what any of the Mandalorians are doing at that point in time. Like it's
because it's not a galactic civil war at that point. Because the thing is, in the Clone Wars, the whole galaxy is involved because there's the Senate. The Republic is basically most of the galaxy, and then you have the Separatists who are like the other like third of the galaxy, and then you have the entire Empire, and then this rebellion just is the whole galaxy is the Empire, and you have little springs of rebellion popping up to form this kind of militia guerrilla group, and then the sequel trilogy, it's more so that everyone's just tired of fighting, that they're just focusing on themselves, and if the First Order comes in and takes over, well, then you're screwed because you're just not focused on fighting or defense or anything, right? So I think everyone's just doing their own thing at this point, and trying to just get back to normalcy.
So with that, other predictions, what's something you think, what are you most excited to see for this new season?
I'm most excited to see Greef Karga and Cara Dune back. I think their characters are really cool. Especially Cara Cynthia Dune. I think she is awesome. Super dope. I really am excited to see her character more than anybody else. And Greef Karga as well. But her character being a rebel, like, now just kind of, being a warrior. What is her, and now she's like hanging out with the Navarro with her bounty hunter friends. Like, what is she doing now? I think is really cool. And why is she doing it? You know, I think her character was really cool last time because she's kind of just like, I'm in, you know, just because it's a fight somewhere. But she fights the good fight. You know, she's just that kind of like, almost like an Ahsoka, but more so like, I'm a fighter. Whereas Ahsoka's like, I don't know. Ahsoka's kind of a drifter, you know? Because she's a Jedi. Like, she's like, I'm not a Jedi, but she's for all intents and purposes, she's a Jedi. But she doesn't.
In the grand scheme of like how the galaxy would see her, she's a Jedi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like she may not be part of the Order, which is fine, but she's a light side Force user with lightsabers. So, in that aspect, she's a Jedi, and I don't know how she fits in now because Luke is trying to establish a Jedi Order again because he sees them as necessary beings. Because they are necessary in that sense. They are what moves people's knowledge of the Force forward, you know? And they are protectors of peace. They're peacekeepers. They're not warriors, which is what was corrupted in the Clone Wars. But it's interesting to see this new order be sort of like just students of the Force and harness your powers for good. You know? They're back to their roots, which is what I would love to see. That's why I just want to see if we can get some of that in The Mandalorian. I'm not sure we will. But it would be cool to get some of that. Now, based off of predictions, that's what I'm saying. I'm really excited to see Cara Cynthia Dune. I think her character is going to be awesome. And I'm really, like you said, you brought up Moff Gideon and the Darksaber. I'm really excited to see about Moff Gideon and the Darksaber. Because reports are he broke like 5 Darksabers during like... Because he's so intensely fighting that he's broken like 5 Darksabers when they were filming. So I'm very...
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, so he's definitely using it. And he definitely knows a lot about... He knows about Din Djarin. Like, he knows his, like, legal name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't born on Mandalore, and so he knows about him. So he knows about the Mandalorian history.
I want to know who he is. I want to know what he's about.
How the hell did he get the Darksaber? That's what I really want to know.
Right. Where did he get that? Because that means he had to have taken it from...
during the Purge? Yeah.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, because she's the last person we saw it. And apparently she's coming back. I am just scared that they're bringing in too many characters. And it's
That's a big thing.
It's not going to be the Mandalorian anymore. It's just going to be another, like, Rebels.
One thing I like about the Mandalorian is the fact that it has this, like, space western aspect.
It's a space western.
This lone warrior is going around
gunslinger
to unknown and just messing shit up, and it has nothing to do with anything else that's going on.
No, he's just trying to find... It's almost, you know, funnily enough, because he is a Mandalorian, but, you know, Jango Fett, I'm just a simple man trying to make his way through the universe, right? Yeah. That's what this is. Just a simple man just trying to find his way, right? Like, this is the way. He's just trying to find his way, right? He now has a clan of 2, right? With the Mudhorn as his signet. Like, there's a lot... Like, he's just finding things. Like, I think that's how most of the people in Star Wars live. They just try and find their way, right? And most of the people in the world, like, they're just trying to find a way to live, you know? Maybe they'll settle down here. No, it's not right for me. Maybe I'm a loner. Maybe I'm a drifter. Maybe I am a traveler, right? Maybe I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how he's going to probably get in trouble with the New Republic, right? Because they were chasing him in one of the trailers. Let's talk about that as a reaction.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be interesting to see. I want to see more of the New Republic, basically. I think we got a lot of...
Me too.
I think we got a lot of the First Order in the sequels, but we didn't get enough of the New Republic because they killed them in like...
I'm just about to say that, we didn't get any of it in the sequels, really, so I'm curious to see like how they actually operate.
Right. And so that would be really cool to watch, I think.
Yeah. And then something else I'm really curious to see, which I don't think we're actually going to get this season, but at least we're going to start getting more context with it this season.
Yeah.
I just want to know more about the child's race.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I want to know where they come from.
About the child.
Because I thought, like when Yoda was on Dagobah, I think we all assumed that he's just from Dagobah. Like, you know, like he fled there. Like, I think most people are like, oh, he's just a kind of a rare species from Dagobah.
I thought he just chose Dagobah. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Dagobah was just a place that he knew was exiled.
Yeah, but like in episode 5 when it first came out, right? Like, think about when it first came out, when Empire Strikes Back. I think people assumed that's his home planet, right? Because that's like he had a hut, you know, and all that. And then in episode 3 you understand that he went into exile. But again, people aren't sure if that's like, was that his home? Because like, why did he choose Dagobah? You know what I mean? Like it's a giant life. It's a swamp, like a giant swamp planet. So it's like, why did he choose that? Is he from a swampy planet? Like it begs a lot more questions. Is that his original planet? Is he from a swampy planet? You know, because he blends in really well. So it would make sense if he's from there, or at least a swamp. So again, like you said, it would be very interesting to find out about the child Yoda species, Yaddle, who makes a small appearance in The Phantom Menace. But yeah, it'd be very interesting because there's clearly more than one of them, and they're not unknown, but they're unknown to this character and then unknown to us. But to others, they're clearly not unknown. So it'd be very interesting for him to like meet some people who know about Yoda or knew about Yoda, right?
Right.
And so I think maybe that's why Ahsoka's there. But again, like, I'm really scared to see her. Because Ahsoka's character and the way Rosario Dawson act, I don't think match up. I mean, obviously they chose her for a reason, but I don't know if it was just because of the name. You know?
I think she has the potential to do well with it, because one thing that I will say is about Ahsoka is that, you know, as she did get older, she did get wiser, and I think...
yeah, she did, but there was this almost like... I don't know. Ahsoka is... I don't know. There's something about Ahsoka from Rebels who's still about... Like, the voice actress, Ashley Eckstein, yeah, who played Ahsoka, there was a very girlish way about her. So she wasn't... Like, she was girly, so she had that optimism. Like, she was almost like a teenager in Rebels. Like, in the sense that she was like a young adult, teenager-esque. So I don't know how she's going to be as an adult. Like, she was wise. I'm not saying that she can't be wise. I'm just saying that I don't know how she's going to act her. Because she has a high voice, and I don't know if Rosario Dawson's going to give her a high voice. Because if she has a deep voice, all of a sudden I'm going to think it's weird. Because Shakti didn't have a deep... Like, it's just weird, you know? It's just weird to see other people play a character.
I'm gonna be curious. I am going to be cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Just because I do trust Jon Favreau and
Dave Filoni,
all the stuff that he's done to this point.
Right.
I mean, I've been rewatching Mandalorian just because I'm excited for this season. And it's just a beautiful show.
Yeah.
Everything they did.
But that's what I'm saying.
So good.
I think if they're just using it as... maybe they won't ever do a show with her, but maybe they're just using her as a plot device, like just a little tiny bit, maybe like an episode, not even a full episode, maybe like half the episode or like a little 10-minute thing. Then I'd be okay with it. But if she's gonna get her, the reports are that she's gonna get her own show. I don't want that, if that makes sense. Because her prime was in the Clone Wars. Like, her prime conflict was during the Clone Wars. So now if she gets her own show, it's just going to be her going on adventures. And I'm not sure I really want to see that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that's not her. Does that make sense? Like, the Mandalorian going on adventures makes sense because that's part of his character.
Right.
He's part of this clan that needs to find... He has a mission, but he's also, like, a bounty hunter, so he's bound to do this. Like, Ahsoka's not a bounty hunter. She's a drifter now, but she's not... You know? Like, she's older, so she can't be just a drifter. Like, you can't be an 80-year-old... I don't know how old she is at this point, but you can't be, like, 40 years old and drifting all over the place, if that makes sense.
Right.
You gotta have some home base. It's just a little weird for you to just keep drifting. I will... You know what I really want to see? Maybe not from The Mandalorian, but, you know, maybe some other spin-off show that they're planning on doing sometime. But I want to go back to Coruscant. I think I got robbed of that in The Rise of Skywalker. I talked about that, but... I want to see Coruscant again.
No, I agree.
I think we need to.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't see any... I think the sequel trilogy...
We see Tatooine.
...is the first time where we don't really see a single planet repeated.
It's only Tatooine, right?
There's no Tatooine. We went to Jakku. Oh, well, we saw Tatooine
That's
at
what
the very
I'm saying.
end.
That's it. That was it. And we saw Endor. We saw Endor. And the Ewoks are just, like, chilling.
Oh, yeah, we did see Endor briefly. Why do we see Endor again? Because
they see stuff blow up and they're like, oh, cool. Because again, they want to. That was the problem with the sequel trilogy. The whole galaxy wasn't affected by the First Order. It was like it was
a very small part of the galaxy that was affected.
It was like half.
They had to struggle to get people to help them, but
I mean, it was cool. It was a cool thing. But what I'm saying is maybe that's why they didn't go to the other planets because it didn't affect them. Like I don't think Naboo was affected. Naboo was probably like chilling in their all their glory. You know, Naboo was just rich. So, you know, I would be very excited to see some of the planets that we've been to in the past. Oh, one thing I do want to see from season 1.
I like seeing Tatooine in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I like that. But I really want to see. Sorry about that. I forgot about this completely. Remember the episode in Tatooine where there's the voice actors for Mulan? Was there Min Wei?
I don't. She was something Shan in the episode.
Yeah, something Shan. She was a bounty hunter. She's like a sniper, and she is dead at the end of the episode, right, or something. But somebody's walking.
She's at the end of the episode, and then someone like walks up to her.
Or no, not her. It was was it? Yeah, someone walks up to her body. Yeah.
I think it was her body.
Or was it that other or the other bounty hunter who like tries to double?
I'm pretty sure it was her body because the other guy was killed in the hangar.
Right.
And then
so somebody's walking up to her body. Who was that? Why was that shown? Obviously, they're doing something with that.
Yeah, why was that shown? Who was that? Because that was never mentioned again.
And not necessary unless they're planning on doing something with that. So obviously, there's something. Maybe it was Moff Gideon. You know, I think I don't know if maybe they thought that we would think that, but yeah, I think Moff Gideon clearly. I mean, Giancarlo Esposito is a great actor, but as Moff Gideon, I think is going to be 10 times better. So
yeah.
I'm very excited to see new characters. I think that's the main thing. And the old characters from the first season. I'm kind of excited.
I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. I'm just curious to see how much time has passed. Because, Karga's got, the salt and pepper going on now.
Right. And
when did that
happen? Looking clean now?
Yeah, why is he... Why all of a sudden he looking so much older? How long has it been since
I would love to see the child start to speak or have some development.
That's another reason. I'm curious to see him mature.
It'd be kind of boring to see him just as a child again, if that makes sense. Because he'd just be like, hey,
I don't want him to be perma-child.
Yeah.
Does he need to be does he need to turn into a Yoda? Probably not. But I don't want him to just be a perma-child. No,
have a mind of his own and try to figure out the world for himself.
Yeah.
That much at least. But yeah, what else? Oh, I am really interested to see how they use Boba Fett. Their reports are it's maybe a flashback, and I'm pretty cool about that. You know what I mean? And maybe Ahsoka is also just a flashback. But it would kind of be weird to bring Rosario Dawson in just for a flashback.
Yeah, I'm also very curious to see how they're going to do that, and I think it would be really cool. Because it will start to answer some of the questions, I think, of Boba Fett as a Mando.
Right.
Because obviously, George Lucas has said that he's not a real Mandalorian.
He's a clone, right? So.
He what?
He's a clone, right? So.
Boba's a clone, yeah, but neither he nor Jango are actually Mandalorians.
Yeah, I think
they
maybe adopted or something.
They're apparently fake Mandalorians. They just wear Mandalorian armor. It's made out of Dura steel instead of Beskar and things.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. So I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see that. Maybe it's a rift. Maybe I
would love to see it. I would love to have the guy who played Boba be in the show.
I think Tamura, right? Tamura.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I forgot his last name, but yeah, he's a cool actor, so I definitely want to see him back. I don't see that's the thing is if you're bringing back the same actors, it's another thing, but if you're bringing in new actors into an already established character, very very difficult to do. And
So I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Do you think that Din Djarin will get the Force?
I don't think so. It'd be very weird for him too because he's so old, and he's obviously had when he saw the Force, he was already so shocked. So it's not like he's ever seen anything that would. He was like, "What the?" Remember, he was like, he's like,
right.
And then he explains it to them, the armor, and she's like, "Oh, I've heard of this." He's like, "You have? This is a real thing. I'm not going crazy." He's like that's the most he's spoken about that topic. He just speaks so much about it because he's like, I don't know what to say. I'm scared.
I just the reason why I asked that question is because I feel like Excuse me. One thing that Star Wars does have a tendency to do is kind of give a lot of people the Force.
Yeah, I hope they don't. If they do, that's going to be crap. But yeah, if they do, it's going to be crap. I'm just going to say it right now because there's no good way you can do it. Because he's so old and he's so shocked about the Force. I don't think
there's a good way to
do it. So I don't think he'll get it. I don't think Kara will get it. I don't think Grief will get it. Grief Karga. I don't... Maybe Moff Gideon has the Force somewhat. That'd be interesting to see.
I honestly don't think he... Well, it would be interesting. Because to be fair, I don't think Moff Gideon really should have survived the crash of his ship if he didn't have the Force.
Exactly. So it'd be interesting to see him. Maybe him and the child duke it out. That would be something, huh?
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm definitely super excited to see these Splinter Empire groups. I think that is the coolest part of what the Mandalorian offered, because it's like these guys, it's almost like, you know, what the, I mean, not to get, I mean, it's political, so let's talk about it, but like people who like hold on to like the Confederacy and stuff like that in the US, or like people who hold on to Nazism, like Nazism, like just trying to hold on to it. It's like the old or the old British people who are like trying to hold on to like the empire, like, oh, they like the British Empire is the greatest, we like brought civilization to the world. It's like, you guys were sucky. You had like a few good things that happened, but only happened because you were sucky and you forced it on people, and now you're trying to hold on to old glory, right? And so it's very, very interesting to me to see that, because it's like very relevant, but it's also like, I want to see how are they trying to like regroup in silence and like build the First Order, or are they trying to like are they just trying to like just redo the Empire without the First Order? Like, do they have like meetings with the First Order? It'd be very interesting, because they're two different philosophies, right? So it's like they both want the same thing, but it's a different thing, it's a different entity. And so very interesting to see that. The Splinter Empire groups, I think, was the coolest, one of the cool parts of the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
because really the Empire is dead, right? But you know that the Empire obviously has enough cachet and resources to at least take over small towns for themselves. So
and it's interesting, like, how many people are still scared of the Empire. Like, even the fact that like the Empire is gone.
Yeah.
But there are people who have resources and powers and technology.
It's the resources
that still make them scary.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, it's like after, I don't know, like after you beat somebody, it's like it still takes a little while for the army to actually surrender, right?
For the ripples to kind of calm down.
Like, there's still some
conflict. It's a big galaxy, so like there are some places that just were
like, I think that happened in the Civil War, right? Like, the Civil War took like 3 months after the Civil War was like over for there to be actually stopped being battles. There's like 15 or something battles that happened after the Civil War, and it's just like, damn, imagine those people, like, they're just like fighting for like, some of them even knew it's over, but they're still like, nah. I can like they have this thing to like restart it. They're like, oh well, we can still keep going. It's like, no, you can't. Like, you lost. But like, you know, it's interesting to see, because what are you gonna do? Like, just surrender and just be like at the mercy of the other people, right? So, so yeah, definitely excited to see the remnants of the Empire and the New Republic. I think those are the top two things that I want to see. In addition to seeing the old the not old characters from other Star Wars things, but the originally introduced characters from season 1. So Cara Dune is my top, and then probably Moff Gideon for me. What about you? Who are you most interested in seeing as a character?
I think of all of the characters, honestly, Moff Gideon. Like, I genuinely want to know, because I want to know his entire backstory.
Because he obviously knows a lot. He obviously knows a lot. He knows about Mandalorian, knows about the Force.
He's kind of like a combination of a Thrawn and a Tarkin almost.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's like
that's a good analysis.
And knows everything, but he's also scary as shit. Like,
and he obviously has a Darksaber, which he's not afraid to use. Knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I want to know a lot more about him. I want to know why he has a Darksaber. I want to know what's his
end game, right?
Siege of Mandalore.
Right.
Because I want to understand why the Mandalorians are hiding now.
Yeah, why are they still hiding? Like, is it over? Like, are they still scared? Like, being a warrior
right?
race.
Like, what exactly is why are the Mandalorians being, excuse me, like secluded like this? Because
Right.
we saw in Rebels the taking back of Mandalore for the Mandalorians as opposed to the Empire.
Right.
But obviously, between when that happened and where we are now,
and Bo-Katan
something else happened to
right?
Mandalore.
Because Bo-Katan loses the Darksaber, and so
So, like, what happened there? Why are the Mandalorians?
I mean,
now
and I do.
hiding?
I think if they focus on Ahsoka not from Rebels, but they focus Ahsoka from season 7 of the Clone Wars, and maybe they bring her in to talk to discuss about her time on Mandalore, like, when she beats Darth Maul and reclaims Mandalore for the Republic, which eventually becomes the Empire, right? So maybe to talk about that. That'd be very interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know if they talk. I don't want to see her too long. I don't want to see any of the old characters too long. Like maybe part of an episode here and there.
Enough.
If they sprinkle them in throughout the season, I think that's fine. But they shouldn't really. I don't think they should be getting whole episodes. If that makes sense. Because then you're taking away from these characters that are great. Like, who do you have? You have obviously Din Djarin. You have the child. You have Cara Dune, you have Grief Karga. Like, you have 4 protagonists that you can just, like, expand upon for a while. So, like, bringing in old characters and just using them again is just kind of, I don't know, kind of boring. But yeah, I
don't want to see... You know what characters I don't want to see?
Who?
I don't want to see Luke. I don't want to see any mention of Luke. I don't want to see any mention of the original trilogy characters.
It'd be interesting to see Leia, because we don't really get a lot of Leia. That'd be interesting.
I'd be interested to see Leia if she was a New Republic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's connected to the new... I was thinking the same thing as you, same wavelength. Like, trying to rebuild a new political government so that people can coexist together peacefully. I think that would be interesting to see. Not her as, like, a Jedi or something. Because we already got that.
Yeah. I don't want to see Lando. I do not want to see Lando. Period.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to see
Lando. Yeah. I don't want to see him.
That's what I'm saying. We don't need to see too many of the old characters. We have so many cool ones.
Yeah. I don't even want to see any Sith. I really don't. I don't think the Sith have any business.
No Sith. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the enemy should be the Sith. It's not an evil entity. It should be remnants of the Empire, and it should also just be people who are just trying to be selfish, right? So we kind of saw some enemies last season were just greedy bounty hunters or greedy people, greedy thieves, just people, just criminals, like, small time things that we don't get to really see because we're not following in all the Star Wars things, we're not following non-Jedi that often. So
exactly, this is the first. I want to keep the
space western,
the theme
cowboy
of this show kind of in the
space
seedy
cowboy
underbelly of it.
Exactly, the space cowboy, just a little finger twirly. And then a bang, just a gunslinger-esque,
Yeah, I don't need any space wizards in my space western.
Yeah, it would be interesting to go back and to go into the backstory of Din Djarin. I think that would be very cool. Because again, he was saved by like Death Watch, right? He was saved by Death Watch, not.
I think so. Yeah.
So not.
It was a Death Watch. Someone saved him.
So already, like, you're in some shady territory because Death Watch is not necessarily the best of groups.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then he was obviously saved during the Clone Wars, so he knows about that stuff, and that's what they can discuss with
Ahsoka. Maybe he was at the Siege of Mandalore, which would be really interesting. It would actually be really interesting to see if they try and like made a connection to when Ahsoka was on Mandalore.
That's what I'm saying.
When Din entered.
That would be cool, but I don't want to see. That's why I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want to see too much of Rebels because I feel like we got a lot of Mandalore from Rebels. And so they just keep going into... I know it's easy to go into, but I feel like it should just be about the new Republic and the remnants of the Empire. Like, what happens after. Like, kind of go back too much is also a bad thing. Relying on nostalgia. I think we saw that with Rise of Skywalker. It's like relying on nostalgia too much doesn't really work.
Yeah, very much kind of shoots himself in the foot when they rely too much on nostalgia.
Yeah, So that's why. That's what I'm talking about. Just use some new character. You loosely tie it to the galaxy. Just make them relevant in the galaxy, but also just make it very much a space western, right? Like there's like if you watch westerns, it's like there's no really like the ending doesn't really. It's not really an outcome that's like. There's like all the loose ends are resolved. It's more like that is the outcome. Let's just move on to the next adventure, right? Like there could be a kid orphaned and that's just the end of the western. Like
right.
That's it. It's like, oh, how's the kid's gonna take care of himself? Oh, that's just not answered. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm just
what?
I was thrown into the middle, right? I was thrown into the fire. That's what. So yeah.
This wasn't part of my job. Now it is. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
I'm definitely excited to see how the Mandalorian, how Jin basically becomes more empathetic. So I think that's really cool. Again, it should be very much focused on them two, and the other characters that they've made friends with along the way. Because it's a new show, new characters, new adventures.
I want them to do very well at making me care about the characters, and so far they've done that.
Right. Right. We all care about the child. We love the child. We all care about.
We all care about the child. We all care about Din. I think
Kara is awesome.
Care about Cara Dune.
Yeah. Grief too.
I think
Grief
Karga
is a weird character.
Getting to the point where who?
Grief Karga is a weird character too. We like him, but he's weird.
He's a weird character, but I think people are starting to like him. I'm starting to like him, and I think as we get more
of him and more of Kara. That's why I was excited in the trailer that the three of them are united again.
Right.
And doing
I like that a lot.
He's like, I need your help.
Honestly, I want to see them as like a crew.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. On the Razor Crest, like he's like, this is my new crew.
Exactly.
And I'd love to see more about Kara.
To see like an actual.
Because again, Kara was in the middle of the Galactic Civil War as a rebel, right? Mm-hmm. Was it a rebel like heavy trooper, shock trooper, rebel shock trooper? So
I think Grief is a little bit of a weirder one to have on a crew, just because like. He has some skills with the blaster, but I don't really know what else.
I think his main thing is like Lando almost. He got that connections. You know, he's got connections.
That's true.
So
He does know a lot of people.
But Kara is so cool because she's just like, she is 100%.
She's just a badass.
Yeah, but she's 100% rebel. You know, she's 100% for the cause. I'm fighting the good fight. You know, so. And in the meanwhile,
she's a badass.
And in the meanwhile, if I have to wrestle just for the fun of it, then I will. You know. So I think that's
I guess we're fighting.
Right. Oh, we're just sparring. So definitely excited to see the expansion of the new characters. Cautiously optimistic about introducing old characters into the fray. And I just really hope it is just what season 1 brought to the table is there is somewhat of a plot line. You know, Moff Gideon's obviously on their tail trying to get the child. But how does that work when the New Republic is there? You know, he's obviously getting in trouble with the New Republic. Do they help? You know, does he tell them about like, yo, I got the Empire chasing me. I don't need you guys too. They're like, what? Like, where are they? And then takes them. We get to see this kind of, you know, Battle of Jakku, almost like you know, this thing of like after the Emperor's dead, like what happens then, sort of thing. So definitely excited, obviously, but yeah, I just. The weekly thing is cool, but I just really wish they had just released all the episodes all together. And there's a part of me that wants them to do that.
I would look. I've actually gone back and forth on this.
Yeah.
I do not like the fact that they make me wait a week every single time.
Yeah, because it's a long ass time, man. It's like 8 episodes over 8 weeks, right? That's 8 weeks. I don't know if I can handle that.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Because last year they did 2 episodes like within a week, right? Because they were releasing it on like a Wednesday and then they released another one on like a Friday. Yeah. So it wasn't 8 weeks; it was like 7 weeks. So I can do that.
I don't remember why they did that, but I know they did that.
But 8 weeks is a long ass time, man. I don't know if I can deal with that.
Oh, you know why they did that? I think it was to line up with Star Wars Day.
Yeah, they did. And they avoided, and then they like changed another one to like a Thursday because The Rise of Skywalker came out on a Friday. So it was just a weird schedule last year. Yeah, one thing I am grateful for that they finished filming and they finished CGI and everything, post. Right. They finished it in post because of COVID. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll both we'll watch, and I think you know, because it's Dave Filoni and because it's Jon Favreau, both of them directing this ship, I think we'll be fine. You know, even if it's not as good as the first season, it'll definitely be good enough to where it's still great.
Genuinely, I don't expect it to be as good as the first season because the first season is just so damn good.
Because the first season had 2 wow factors, right? You have the child. The child was a big secret, right? Like he got that idea from when he was doing work with Beyonce and Childish Gambino on The Lion King, and they told him to drop, like, how they used the drop of, like, the unknown drop, you know, when they just drop an album with no promotion, no advertisement, and people eat it up because, like, oh my god, what is this, you know? Like, oh my god, just new music, right? And so when you already have that brand name, just dropping unexpected gems, you know, with no... Maybe they'll do that in this one, too. I don't know if that'll work. Because
I don't know what they could possibly
what could they do, right? Yeah. And so, because there's so many leaks about this character's in it or that character's in it, it's like there's too many leaks for me to like figure out.
Honestly, when the child comes out in full Mandalorian armor,
that's when we'll be like,
and has a jetpack as his own.
I think if the
Darksaber,
if the child wields the Darksaber this season, I think. Even if it's not as good, I'll just be happy. Like if the child
I'll be so lit.
Grabs it and just I'll be like, ah, shit, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's when
I'll be shouting, bro.
Yeah,
I gotta make sure let me tell you, I will be shouting.
Yeah,
because I'll be so hyped for this fucking for the season.
But yeah, like I think
every exciting thing will happen.
Right. I think that's good because we talked about everything, man. So now it's up to you guys. Just watch. Let us know what you think. What are you excited for? What are you not? And obviously we'll get a little taste in episode 1 this Friday, but I don't think it'll be. We'll still have a lot of questions and a lot of stuff unanswered. So a lot of this stuff will still apply after Friday drops. So maybe we'll get a clear idea in 4 weeks. Because Disney Plus wants us to suffer in agony for 8 weeks.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it, guys. So, you know, this is the way. Keep going. May the Force be with you. Always, you know. And let's be cautiously optimistic. Yeah. Cautiously, I think that's the word of the day, of season 2. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, guys. Anyway. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.